Well, the National Cheer Safety Foundation was created by parents for injured athletes and their families to promote safety in competitive cheerleading. Well, dangerous can be a comparative word, but cheerleading is the #1 cause of catastrophic injury for female athletes. So cheerleading 71% of all catastrophic injuries to females in high school since 1982 in the US. So if you look at it like that, I mean, it's more than double all other sports combined that are tracked. So from a catastrophic injury standpoint, it's certainly very dangerous, and primarily because it's unregulated gymnastics. It's not a Title IX sport, except for in the state of Michigan at the high school level. So when you take gymnastics, which is already inherent danger in it in itself, and put it on hard surfaces with untrained coaches, without athletic trainers, then you're going to increase the risk. Well, our #1 priority at the National Cheer Safety Foundation, as far as legislatively, would be to make cheerleading a Title IX sport and have actual regulation for the sport skill set. Well, like what we did here in California, where we actually get a bill introduced and passed into law that would require it to be a Title IX sport. There's over 30 states in the US that call it a sport, but the athletes don't have Title IX protection, which means the school's not required to give it the same resources that it would the football team or the boys basketball team or even the girls basketball team. And that difference creates an issue safety-wise, and because of the level of risk that kids are taking, then you see the amount of injuries catastrophically. I mean, it's the #1 cause of catastrophic brain injury. We're talking about fractured skulls and long-term disability. No, we don't. We haven't really worked with the insurance companies because cheerleading is primarily, for the most part, insured by individual school districts and then also by the cheerleading uniform company. So it's very often privately insured. Like the NCAA doesn't insure cheerleading anymore. The cheerleading uniform company is the insurance company. So when cheerleading became as expensive to insure as football, with 8 times the participants in football than in cheerleading, the NCAA decided it was a risk too great for them to take. And so because the uniform company wants to continue to sell lots of uniforms, they filled in the gap. So we have some interesting differences in cheerleading when it comes to insurance. So normally litigation and insurance are great places to work from alongside with legislation to create change. And so we have a bit of a roadblock with insurance for cheerleading. I think I won an award because I did something that nobody else was willing to take the time to do. Ultimately, women get left out of the equation when it comes to brain injury. We lump everyone together, but when you kind of open the box inside, you find out that the research and everything's based on men. And when you have something like cheerleading that's even lower on the totem pole than volleyball or girls basketball or whatever, it just keeps getting swept under the rug. And so being someone to take the lead on that and being willing to take the heat too and the follow through, it was a 10-year project to make cheerleading a sport in California, and a lot of people would have given up. I think through all of this, the thing that I loved the most was hearing people doing research with female animals and not just doing research with male rats. It's kind of one of my little pet peeves. I hear about a new study and I know it's male rats, I know it's male animals, so I just can't get excited about it because it doesn't include us. So it's just great to hear from doctors, scientists, researchers that they're really starting to look at the female differently than the male, and we are different. It's obvious. I just think it's terrific that this is happening. It's super important because female survivors have a hard time relating to male survivors because we have different issues. And so it's terrific to take on this topic and give females a voice.